Hello there. My name is Claudia Schmidt, and I'm a woman, W-O-M-A-N. Let me say it again. I'm a woman, W-O-M-A-N. I'm gonna tell you again. Yeah. Well, that little song, I'm a Woman, was written in the 1960s by a team named Lieber and Stoller, a very famous songwriting team who happened to be men. It's a pretty exciting chorus, except when you get into the meat of the song, it's more about, well, you know, I can get up and cook and clean and do the laundry and throw the grease in the pan and run to the store and be back before it melts, and I can make a dress out of a flour sack, and I can make a man out of you. Oh, well, I don't think so. We've come way beyond that here at the Brewster Ladies Library and beyond. So I wanted to dedicate my whole show to women who have seen beyond the stereotypes. I'm going to start with a song that came to me literally in a dream. It was very exciting about a year ago. And of course, it was the 100th anniversary of women getting the vote. And I had a visit from a suffragist, like a ghost of a suffragist. There was a train whistle close by to where I was staying, and it sort of opened a portal. And I sort of took notes at this point. Her talking to me now. This is called Women in White. Yeah. Well, I heard a train in the night. I saw those dresses of white. I knew the time was right to claim what's mine. Too long in chains of fear, there's no more need, my dear. We are so very near to the finish line. We were beaten in the streets, we were thrown in jail, mocked and abused, but to no avail. Because the women in white kept marching for the right to vote. Yeah, the women in white kept standing for the right to vote. Ooh, we tried the middle way. We talked to those men every day. We were sent away with a shake of their heads. What else could we have done? This was for everyone, our daughters and our sons, and long after we're dead. Yeah, we were beaten in the streets, we were thrown in jail, mocked and abused, but to no avail. Because the women in white kept marching for the right to vote. Oh, the women in white kept standing for the right to vote. Women in white, women in white. 100 years ago, we won that right. Women today, there's still no ERA. Can't you find a way to be the new women in white? Yeah. Ooh, that train is bound somewhere. Now it's you that must dare to journey all the way there with our precious gains. Please don't give up the fight to save our hard-won rights. But there are those who would put us right back in chains. Oh, we were beaten in the streets, we were thrown in jail, mocked and abused, but to no avail. Because the women in white kept marching for the right to vote. Yeah, the women in white kept standing for the right to vote. Women in white, women in white. 100 years ago, we won that right. Women worldwide, I see a shifting tide. Well, Women in White. A little message from a suffragist. You know, the vote was delayed for a little while, the 19th Amendment, because of the 1918 pandemic. And it's just so interesting that this past year, when we were supposed to have been able to get together and hoop it up to celebrate the 100th anniversary, we couldn't do that because of this current pandemic that we're in. Just something to note. There's an incredible quote from a black suffragist from that time who actually lived to see the Voting Rights Act passed as well, as a young woman. Let's see, Daisy Elizabeth Adams Lampkin was her name. And she said, "You cannot be neutral. You must either join with us who believe in a bright future or be destroyed by those who would return us to a dark past." Whew, such words. So here we are today, celebrating women who were able to transcend the limits and the limitations of their times, and they have always been there. Wherever we are, they exist because of the nature of our culture. And so I want to acknowledge two women who decided that there should be a library in Brewster, Massachusetts in 1852. Sarah Augusta Mayo and Mary Louise Cobb. They decided to make a library, and they did. And in 1853, the Brewster Ladies Library began. It's undergone some physical changes over the years, but here we are all these years later. And it's such a treat to be here and be part of this ongoing series. There's a place in Grand Rapids, Michigan, Kindred, called the Ladies Literary Club, which was built in the late 1800s and is still maintained to this day beautifully. I got to do a couple of concerts there, and esteemed literary ladies, as the name would suggest. And I'm in the green room off stage looking at these photos of all the past presidents and honored members of the group. And I loved seeing the pictures of these powerful women, and I was very irritated by the fact that underneath all the names, all the pictures was a masculine name. You know, woman's face, Mrs. Guy, woman's face, Mrs. Dude, and so on. I couldn't identify these women by their own personalities. And I got to this one photo, kind of mysterious looking, and underneath the photo it said, Miss Eulalia Thomas. And I went, ah. And then I went on and did my concert and drove off and thought that was the end of it. But it turns out Miss Eulalia got into my imagination. And a few months later, this song came out in honor of women owning their names. Miss Eulalia Thomas. Miss Eulalia Thomas, your face upon this wall, gazing outward upon us, you beckon and enthrall. How did you miss becoming a Mrs. Eulalia? You make me smile, you have a style all your own. All your literary sisters cast away their names, only known as Mrs., Mr., Walter, Frank, and James. You stand alone, intact and unedited, Eulalia. You spark in me the part that's free and alone. All alone. Were you wealthy? Were you haughty, stealthy, beautiful without a doubt? All the others smile straight on. You come at me carefully, dreams in your eyes, never quite caught. Your chin so strong. Literary ladies, oh, you led them for a time. We're their lovers, children, critics, husbands in your prime. How did you fit, outfitted in mystery, Eulalia? You let me know I'm free to grow as I will, and I will. Miss Eulalia Thomas, your face upon this wall. Miss Eulalia Thomas, you're smiling for us all. Yeah. Miss Eulalia Thomas. I remember having a talk the last time I was actually at the Brewster Ladies Library, walking around and looking at photographs, and there was this beautiful photograph of this woman in a field with no name, and it just wasn't considered important enough to put a name with that photo, but we're doing what we can now to mitigate that. So libraries have always been a little bit of heaven for me. From the time I was a little girl in my hometown of New Baltimore, Michigan, I spent I laid a path between the library with my armloads of books, to and fro, and climbing up into my favorite tree in the backyard to get to them, and spending hours in my bedroom in that world of books. And it was a small town, but there was this world waiting for me. And so when I stumbled upon this poem written by Naomi Shihab Nye, it went straight to my core. So I'm going to share this poem with you, and then a song right afterward that may have spun somewhat off of that early experience. First, because of libraries, we can say these things. She is holding the book close to her body. She is carrying it on the cracked sidewalk, down the tangled hill. If a dog runs at her again, she will use the book as a shield. She looked hard down these long lines of books to find just the right one. When they start talking about money, when the day contains such long and hot places, she will go inside. An orange bed is waiting, story without corners. She will have 2 families. They will eat at different hours. She is carrying the book past the firehouse and the 5 and dime. What this town has not given her, the book will provide. A sheep, a wilderness of new solutions. The book has a calm cover, a straight spine. The book has already lived through its troubles. When the step returns to itself as the best place for sitting, and the old men up and down the streets are latching their clippers, she will not be alone. She will have a book to open and open and open. Her life starts here. Take it easy, take it slow. You don't need to hurry, so you'll get where you need to go. Quit rushing. I heard these words every single day of my life, and they drove me crazy, 'cause there's someone living deep inside, and she's calling. She sings out to me when I lay down to sleep. She raises me shaking from my head to my feet. She pulls me to the edge and she sounds so sweet. I'm flying. There's a racer inside me and I can't slow her down. Whoa, there's a racer inside me and I can't slow her down. Girl, you're gonna get in trouble. Wild-eyed twitcher taking stares on the double. Chewing your fingers, go look in the mirror now. Aren't you ashamed? scare off any would-be mate. The way you inhale food right off your plate. In a lonely hurry, you'll find too late you got haste to blame. But these words mean nothing when there's something screaming to be heard and heeded. This is no dream, and whenever I try to quiet her, it seems I'm dying. There's a racer inside me, and I can't slow her down. Oh, there's a racer inside me, and I can't slow her down. She moves fast, but she sees everything. She won't last if I won't let her bring all that she can do into my life. And I will go with her. My nose is red, my best friend told me I look half dead. There's a sweet wild song playing through my head again and again. They take me running, if they take me at all. I'm on the other side of the compound wall, and I may stumble and sometimes fall and somehow mend. I know that little song is about my soul. You just think I've lost control, but the singer's asking how it feels to be whole. Well, I'm trying. There's a racer inside me, and I can't slow her down. Whoa, there's a racer inside me, and I can't slow her down. There's a racer inside me, can't slow her down. Ooh, there's a racer. There's a racer. Ooh, there's a racer. Ooh. Yeah. Racer. Well, I guess you can't keep up that clip for all of your life, or you wouldn't last very long. Just burn right out. Somewhere along the line, I figured out how to pace myself. Well, a little bit. I'm still working with it. I consider myself as an ongoing member of the Institute of Higher Yearning, and that can speed things up from time to time. So I've gone on making music and writing almost 47 years now, and inspiration is just always flowing in, and I wouldn't necessarily suggest going to the emergency room of a hospital to get inspired to write a poem or a song or anything else, but you know, if that's where you find yourself, that's what you do. And so I was lying there on the gurney waiting for my x-ray after dropping a big piece of wood on my foot, and a woman walked in the door, and in fact, she was a woman in white. I guess she was a doctor. She had a stethoscope around her neck. She didn't say a word to me, didn't introduce herself, just walked up to me, busy, put her stethoscope on my chest, didn't ask about my foot or anything, and looked me right in the eye and said, "You have a slow, steady heart." And she walked out of the room. Well, you can't just forget a moment like that. So a couple months later, I wrote this song. Slow, steady, slow, steady, slow, steady, slow, steady heart. That's what the lady doctor said to me when I showed up for an emergency. It was a pretty nasty injury. It pain and swelling I could feel and see. But what I heard, you see, was you have a slow, steady heart. What does it mean to have a steady heart when our whole world seems to be falling apart? What does it mean that it is beating slow in spite of pain and everything I know? Well, it's a mighty mystery. I have a slow, steady heart. You can sing with me if you want on this. Slow, steady, slow, steady, slow. Sometimes the thing we really need to hear slips unexpectedly into our ear, where time and place have not prepared us for the very news to make our spirits soar. Well, here's breaking news for free. I have a slow, steady heart. Oh, slow, steady. I can almost hear you. Slow, steady, slow, steady. Slow, steady heart. My swollen foot will take some time to heal. Hasn't quite healed yet. But that dear woman helped me keep it real. She said almost tenderly, you have a slow, steady heart. Slow and steady. Sing that with me. Slow and steady. Again. Slow and steady. Slow and steady. May you have a slow and steady heart. Yeah. That's actually the title song of a CD that came out last winter, just as the pandemic came on. It came out just in time to get lost in the year that we've lived through so far. Well, a little bit longer ago, just a few years ago, I was driving west from where I live in Connecticut, 2 solid days on the road, right when the Me Too movement busted open. And, you know, I referenced earlier the idea that there have always been women who have had the vision to see beyond those limits and limitations of the time, you know, whether it was the suffragists or women's lib in the 70s, and there's always been some kind of backlash because of the way our system is. The system that exists now doesn't really want to acknowledge us as equal participants. And yet we persist, right? And so the Me Too movement, it was like another opportunity to sort of, it's like a healing crisis. Everything comes to the surface, and we have a chance to really examine these toxic patterns. So I was feeling kind of hopeful, feeling like, wow, what if this is the time now? What if this is really the time that we get to have this sea change in how we're regarded and how we're accepted as part of the human race? And I was so excited that the day after I landed at my destination, I wrote this song called Long, Long Time. It took a long, long time to put a voice to the anger. It took a long, long time to turn the gray into black. It took a long, long time to put that voice to the anger. It took a long, long time, but now there's no turning back. It was a long, long road to walk behind and be silent. It was a long, long road to carry all that pain. It was a long, long road. Now that journey is ending. It was a long, long road we'll never travel again. No, 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 no. It takes a long, long time to turn the shame into power. It takes a long, long time for every voice to be heard. It takes a long, long time to break a system of violence. It takes a long, long time to put it all into words. We're all just trying to put it into words. Woo-hoo. A long, long view to build a bridge for our daughters. It takes a long, long view to give a choice to our sons. It takes a long, long view to not forget what the price was. It takes a long, long view to know the work's never done. No, no, never, never done. It took a long, long time to raise our voices together. It took a long, long time, but now we walk hand in hand. It took a long, long time to break this terrible silence. It took a long, long time to come to understand. We're all just trying to understand. It took a long, long time. Harriet Tubman, it was a long, long road. Sojourner Truth, takes a long, long view. Susan B. Anthony, it takes a long, long time. Alice Paul, it took a long, long time. Dorothy Day, was a long, long road. Shirley Chisholm, it takes a long, long view. Gloria Steinem, it takes a long, long time. Maya Angelou, it took a long, long time. Malala Yousafzai, it was a long, long road. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, it takes a long, long view. Kamala Harris, it takes a long, long, long time. But together, I believe we will see our way through. Yeah. Long, long time. A few of my heroines scattered at the end of that song. I could go on and on. That could have gone on for about a half an hour more anyway. Well, another heroine of mine that I didn't mention in that song is a woman named Amelia Earhart, who in the 1920s transcended the limitations of her time and became a pilot. And she was actually in Toronto as a Red Cross nurse with her sister, and they were taking care of the soldiers coming back from World War I, just a grisly and horrible scenario that made her a pacifist for the rest of her life. But in the course of, I think they were on an airfield, the hospital was situated on an airfield, and she saw a plane flew very close to her, and she just registered it like one of those boing moments of, that's an interesting looking red machine. I want to find out more about that. And that was the beginning of a short but incredible life, bringing women into the forefront and also bringing aviation into the forefront of a culture that looked at it as some strange anomaly that people did as a sideshow at carnivals. She was so serious about it, dedicated her life to it. And I got to write some songs for a musical that never came to be, but I got to find out so much more about her life. And this song I think of as kind of her aria, of trying to get into the mind of a young woman being completely taken with this passion in the face of so much criticism. Just the fact that she wore trousers to begin with was hugely offensive to a lot of people, much less that she forayed into, out of charm school, you know, and into aviation. It was a big leap. So here's Amelia's aria. Everyone thinks when the eagle flies, it savors the freedom of flight. But maybe we anthropomorphize just because it's a beautiful sight. When the fledgling falls or is pushed from its nest, is it instinct alone that prevails? And who can explain the way we're possessed to go up, up, up with the wind at our tails? But there's one thing as clear as the sky on a day that was clearly meant to fly on. Each time I leave the ground, it feels brand new. Each time I touch back down, I'm thrilled clear through. Even walking's an extra kick when you've recently sailed the sky. No, and I can't wait to fly. We like to think wherever we're not is a place we must surely belong, chasing ourselves to the next perfect spot just to find we brought trouble along. Well, that stowaway trouble won't make a peep till we're damn sure we left it behind. Then it prickles our skin while we toss in our sleep till we wake with a restless heart and mind. But there's one place where a mighty calm is as certain to soothe as old Gilead's balm is. Each time I leave the ground, it feels brand new. Each time I touch back down, I'm thrilled clear through. Even walking's an extra kick when you've recently sailed the sky. Oh, and I can't wait to fly. Can't Wait to Fly, a song for Amelia Earhart and for the rest of us who keep spreading our wings I'm going to switch over to my other instrument of choice, which some of you may recognize. It's the Appalachian Mountain Dulcimer, which I've been playing almost as long as I've been playing the 12-string guitar. Saw one hanging on the wall of a music store, and I loved the shape of it and the sound of it, and kind of taught myself to play it. And I wanted to mention Bess Coleman, because she was another young American woman in the 1920s who wanted to be a pilot, except Bess Coleman was black and knew at that moment in time in America that she would never be able to make that step. But she had heard that France was a little more welcoming to people of color. So she taught herself French, and she moved to France and became a pilot. You know, she transcended. And this next song was written by a friend of mine named Neil Hagberg, and it's about how women all around the world continue to try to transcend the limitations placed upon them by toxic systems. And Neil wrote this song as his daughter was approaching young womanhood, and I feel like that informs the heart of the song, called Stargirls. All of the girls whose names will never be known, all of the girls whose choices were not their own, all of the girls denied their share of the gold, all of the girls like cattle bought and sold, all of the girls who had to submit to a man, all of the girls the boys could not understand, all of the girls whose place at the table was barred, all of the girls who number more than stars. This is for you, I see you shine, sparkling like jewels in the night, wherever I go, whatever I do. Stardust in me is from you. All of the girls who could not tear the veil, all of the girls who tried and tried but failed, all of the girls who did not have their say when the holy writers took their words away. This is for you, I see you shine, sparkling like jewels in the night, wherever I go, whatever I do. The stardust in me is from you. All of the girls who raised their children up well, all of the girls who rose each time they fell, all of the girls who worked for the coming new day, all of the girls who knew the price they'd pay, all of the girls who somehow still kept the faith that all of their girls would find a much better way. You are the stars without words, and oh, I believe that someday your voice will be heard. But this is for you, I see you shine, sparkling like jewels in the night, wherever I go, whatever I do. Stardust in me is from you. The stardust in me is from you. Stargirls. Isn't that beautiful? Beautiful song. So now I'm going to talk about an actual star girl after a fashion. Her name was Hypatia of Alexandria. And we don't know exactly when she was born, mid to late 300s. We know when she died, 415 AD, because that was when she was mobbed to death. She was a brilliant woman, again, transcended limits of her time. She was a mathematician, philosopher, and astronomer, which makes me mention the star girl. And she taught at the Library of Alexandria, and she had devoted students, and many people would come to hear her when she went to the Agora, the public place there in Alexandria, to hear what she had to say. She was just so brilliant and inspiring. And a new bishop came into power who looked at this independent woman attracting a crowd and decided that she must have evil powers, and got this mob together that put her to a horrible death. And then she was more or less forgotten, just a little tiny bit if you Google her. But she lived on in the imagination of philosophers to this day, and mathematicians and artists who have kind of kept her name and the spirit of her existence alive. And a woman named Kai Longfellow wrote a novel a few years ago called Flow Down Like Silver that took this skeletal information of Hypatia and fleshed her out into this beautiful character with this rich, full life and loves and friends and, of course, enemies, as we know. And I was so inspired by the novel that I had to write this song right away, which I'm going to play for you now. And you would have thought that, given what I know about Hypatia, it would have been this hey, Hypatia, how could this happen to her? And I don't know. She must have been looking over my shoulder, and she must have had a great sense of humor, because what came out was something totally different than what I thought might come out. This is called Hypatia of Alexandria, and it's got a part for you in it, which I'll show you when we get there. There once was a gal named Hypatia. She'd beat you in spades if she raced ya. She'd philosophize you to mere smithereens, but not in a way that disgraced ya. Here's your part. Hypatia! Hypatia was smarter than you are. In math and in science, a rock star. No women nor men who ever had been could exceed her in all knowledge thus far. Are you ready? Hypatia! Alexandria was in survival, smuggling books from the flames of revival. They hid a whole library hoping to glean a culture none other could rival. Hypatia! Soon the Christians denounced her as pagan, just an uppity woman to rag on. But so many citizens thought she was keen, the powers that be had to wag on Hypatia. So they whispered that she was too damn proud. Then they poisoned her pals in the royal crowd. They cornered her cruelly and staged a mob scene with pottery shards and a voice loud. Hypatia! Oh, they killed her for no earthly reason, except some vile priest found it pleasing. A sentiment that to this day is often seen on women. It's still open season. Hypatia! Hypatia, it's high time that we truly embrace ya. No longer forgotten or killed for your genes. We must stop them before they debase ya. Hypatia! So now let us sing of her splendor to women and girls, though still tender. For with knowledge we triumph and thwart the obscene, and so in this way we befriend her. Hypatia! Don't forget to remember Hypatia. Hypatia of Alexandria. There's a great book, along with a novel, which maybe you can find at the Brewster Ladies Library, Flow Down Like Silver, but there's a children's book that came out a few years ago called Of Stars and Numbers. So a children's writer decided to bring Hypatia to the consciousness of young children, which I find very, very exciting. Well, I don't write lots and lots of autobiographical material, but I was on the cusp of turning 60 years old, and I just felt like I had something to say because, again, women growing older in this culture, it's like, oh, it's time to fight aging, blah, 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 blah. And I don't feel that way at all. I feel like, well, first of all, I feel like every year that's a year further from my 20s is a good year right off the bat. So I've got a long way to go at this rate. I'm going to keep feeling better and better. And so here's the song that came out of that little moment in time. These tears fall more easily than they ever did before. At often unexpected things I don't question anymore. Babies laughing, sweethearts kissing a drifter's lonely face. Countless moments that sow the seeds of gratitude and grace. These tears are the evidence of happiness. That's the line, you can sing with me. These tears are the evidence of happiness. Oh, happiness. These lines seem to be fighting for a spot upon my face. Each year before the mirror, more and more a map of place. They look just like the trip itself, twists and turns and straightaways. They show up mostly when I smile, and I smile a lot these days. These lines are the evidence of happiness. These lines are the evidence of happiness. Happiness. In the court of love, there's no judge and no jury. A lifetime of losses can't be counted in a hurry. In the court of love, there's only me you see, and the evidence, so much evidence. This heart has been broken like a moon upon the sea, by lover and by culture, by my own inconstancy. But this heart has sung its way to joy and healed 1,000 times. So scarred and ever tender, full of melody and rhymes. This heart is the evidence of happiness. Oh, this heart is the evidence of happiness. Happiness. This life has not found its worth on the stairway to success, reveling more in alleyways and scenic routes, I guess, where the journey is spectacular and accompanies the best. And I will travel fearlessly till I'm happily at rest. This life is the evidence of happiness. This life is the evidence of happiness. This heart is the evidence of happiness. These lines are the evidence of happiness. These tears are the evidence of happiness. The evidence of happiness. Evidence of happiness. I got one more song for you in our little concert, but before I do that, I wanted to offer my deep gratitude to the Brewster Ladies Library, to Nori Morgenstern, who got in touch with me about doing this concert. And I'm hoping that the next time I'm playing for you is right in front of you in the room at the library. We're moving toward it. We're moving slowly and certainly toward that. But in the meantime, I do these little concerts online, Wednesday evening musicales, not every Wednesday, but if you go to my website, claudiaschmidt.com, all the past videos live there, my calendar lives there, my email list lives there, all of the CDs I've recorded over 47 years live there, and my virtual tip vessel lives there, which for us touring musicians, this is something we've had to do in this past year, and it's been truly a lifeline, a lifesaver, that virtual tip vessel. So that lives there 24/7. So please visit claudiaschmidt.com and check all that stuff out. And I'm going to leave you with a song that I wrote for a dear friend of mine, a woman who was a huge inspiration for me, who's still going strong at 90 in South Africa. Her name is Bon Gerritsen, and after spending 3 weeks with her, I had to write a song for her because I watched this woman so passionate and fierce about her life, whether it's justice in the world or her little patch of earth in her backyard where she's planted native plants and raises land tortoises and recycles, and she's been doing this for decades, not just since it became hip to do so. So I had to write this song for her, and it's especially fun to wind up with today because Bon Gerritsen was a librarian and another great lover of books. So this has got a part for you, a kind of call and answer in the chorus. Thanks again for having me, Brewster Ladies Library, and thanks to everybody for watching. Happy Women's History Month. African robin sings up the sun, sunbird picks up the tune and runs. Ha-dee-da, laugh like drunkards, here come 3 whistling ducks, one by one. And it's corn for the birdies, you sing corn for the birdies, crumbs for the wormies, you sing crumbs for the wormies, greens for the torties, you sing greens for the torties, coffee for the peoplies, coffee for the peoplies. So goes the morning Bon's bonny backyard. Oh, chase a few squirrels, shoo that cat, Vicky's on the porch, such a lively chat. Pull a few weeds, bring in the dry laundry, eat a few nasturtiums, oh you can't beat that. Here we go now. And it's corn for the birdies, corn for the birdies, crumbs for the wormies, crumbs for the wormies, greens for the torties, greens for the torties, tea for the peoplies, tea for the peoplies. So goes the day in Bon's bonny backyard. African robin sings up the moon, Southern Cross will come along soon. How daylights are winking good night. Here's one more chance to sing this tune. Corn for the birdies, corn for the birdies, crumbs for the wormies, crumbs for the wormies, greens for the torties, greens for the torties, wine for the peoplies, wine for the peoplies. So goes the night in Bon's bonny backyard. Oh, let's sing it one more time. Corn for the birdies, crumbs for the wormies, greens for the torties, water for the peoplies, water for the peoplies. So goes the world in Bon's bonny backyard. Thanks so much. Blessings.